I've always wanted to eat cereal on the road, and now I can with this. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here with cereal on the go. You know, I'm always on the go, and I love my cereal. Who doesn't love cereal as a meal? It's just one of those things that I think everyone really enjoys. Now you can actually eat cereal on the go with this little cup. I'm surprised someone hasn't come up with something like this already, but it actually might not even really work. I'm kind of curious if it does or not, because the way it works is not quite like the cereal you will have at home. So if I just unbox it here, you can see that we get a cup. It looks like a tumbler that you would take your coffee in, and then it actually has a sticker right there. It says Max Fill. I don't know whose name that is, but I sure like to meet Max someday. CRUNCHCUP is what it's called, and you can see that we have basically an outer piece here and then an inner piece. It kind of reminds me of those diffuser water bottles where you have like this cage inside, you put fruit in there and then you fill it with water and it infuses the water with the taste of the fruit. I don't need that because I don't need that taste. I just use motor oil and tobacco to flavor my water. But this thing is actually two separate compartments. And then up here, what we have is kind of this interesting top. So you can see screws in here and should be watertight. And this piece will unscrew here, and then we can take out this Fruit Loops insert, and this will be your cereal portion here. So it's a small canister. It's kind of about the size of a toilet paper tube, so it's not super huge. You can't put a lot of cereal here, but this is what you would fill up with cereal. But I have my favorite cereal right here, generic Honey Smacks. Oh yeah. So if I just go ahead and pour a cup in here, I'm actually getting more in here than I thought. Maybe about half a cup, not the measurement size, but of a coffee mug like this. You can see I've got this filled now with Honey Smacks. And then what we would do is we would screw this back in here. But what you can see is we have this big mouth opening that will allow me to pour out Honey Smacks. So they will fall out just like that. Now, this little opening right here is where the milk will come out of from this particular cup. And it says there is you can only fill it up to that line. So I'm just going to pour in milk. Part of that is because the inner piece is going to displace some of the milk, and it's probably going to rise up, rise up. See, look how it's rising up. It's like magic. Yeah. You know, I didn't even think that I shouldn't even fill it to the max line, because they probably are thinking, hey, if you fill it up to that max line, it's going to be max filled. All right. But you know what? When we do things here at the Panda Research Institute, we do it all the way. All right. So now what we have here is milk, which is obscuring the cereal inside. So everyone thinks you're just drinking milk. So if I didn't want anyone to know I'm drinking milk, I could use say a really dark liqueur or a whiskey or something like that. But now what's going to happen is the cereal and the milk will come out. I just want to show you how fast this milk will come out. All right. It's kind of just pouring out like that. I'm not sure if there's another hole. Yep, there's a little breather hole right there. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take a gulp of milk and cereal, and then they kind of mix together in your mouth. So the cereal will be crunchy. Now, I'm also kind of guessing that you can regulate how much milk you get with your tongue here and dump as much cereal as you want. So I'm just going to try this. Okay. I got a mouthful of milk because I didn't try to stop the milk. But at this point now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug the hole with my tongue and dump some cereal, and then allow the milk to go into my mouth. That worked much better because the milk comes out so fast, and it's a little unpredictable how fast the cereal will come out, especially depending on how sticky it is or how big it is. And so what you want is kind of that mouthful of cereal before you take the milk, because it only takes like a hot second of milk to kind of fill your mouth with milk. So that's what I would suggest, is take the cereal first and then the milk. Much better strategy. I can actually see I'm reducing my 2% milk here by quite a bit. Okay, the CRUNCHCUP is interesting. To me, the biggest risk about this is that the milk spout is right where the mouth is, and because it comes out pretty quickly, you may have a tendency to spill a little bit of it. So if you are on the go, it's not impossible that you're going to dribble a little bit. I think with a little bit of use, you'll become an expert at this. But what I will say is that many times I am looking for something that is more of a delicious meal, something that's a little bit more familiar to me, and grabbing my Honey Smacks or my Cheerios or my multigrain Cheerios or my apple cinnamon Cheerios or anything that's pretty small. Shredded mini wheats are not going to fit in here, but this is kind of a way to have your familiar and satisfying meal on the go. It does work. And I don't know of any other options for you to eat cereal on the move, in a moving car, maybe on a train, without making a mess. So if you want to pick up the Crunch Cup, I definitely could satisfy an itch for you, but it is kind of expensive. I think this thing was like 30 bucks, but I'm going to use it because I'm going to be on the go eating my cereal out in public, making people jealous. So if you want to pick one up, I'll put a link to it in the description. Peter Von Panda, out.